Allez, c'est parti, mon kiki. On est reparti sur The Stanley Parable Deluxe, hein. Et à chaque fois, je fais le. Est-ce que quelqu'un peut me dire l'heure? Non, bien sûr, personne ne sait rien. Vous et moi ne connaissons même pas. Nous sommes étrangers l'un pour l'autre. J'allais tous les paramètres du jeu à votre convenance, mais qui ne ferait pas ça? Je suis là pour ça. C'est un peu mon travail. Maintenant, mon travail est terminé. Je n'ai plus de renseignements à vous demander. J'ai toutes les données sur vous qu'il me faut et je ne vous connais toujours pas. Enfin, et vous ne me connaissez pas. Ok. Et aucun de nous deux ne sait quelle heure il est. J'imagine que certains réglages sont irréglables. Et si je vais être parfaitement honnête, cette heure n'a aucune incidence sur le jeu de toute façon. Je ne serai pas là la prochaine fois que le jeu se lancera, mais ce n'est pas grave. Ah bon? Les JO sont faits pour être joués en solitaire. Vous appréciez la solitude, non? C'est peut-être la seule information utile que j'ai apprise sur vous. Bon, il est temps pour moi de vous laisser. Il me reste peut-être une dernière chose à régler, mais j'ai besoin de temps pour m'y préparer. Mais ça va, peut-être que vous me reverrez si vous pouvez me trouver. Parlez bientôt. Ok, et là on est parti. Ok, donc là il était un peu moins loufoque, le garçon. On va voir ce que ça va me proposer maintenant au niveau de l'aventure. J'attends, il ne va plus parler.
This is the story of a man named.
Allez, on passe. Ok, on est ici. À la manette, je peux? Oui. Allez, on y va.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok. La dernière fois, il y avait une porte qui était ouverte sur le côté, on l'avait prise. Là, il y en a plus. Oui, voilà, c'était celle-ci. New Content. Au niveau des portes là, il y avait une porte rouge la dernière fois, il y avait trois portes. Qu'est-ce que je fais? Écoute,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
on va aller là.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bon, là, je fais ce qu'il me dit pour l'instant. Ça change pas. Là, je peux pas l'ouvrir. La dernière fois, c'était ouvert, je me souviens.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Voilà. Donc, à partir de là, je vais peut-être changer un petit peu ce qu'on avait vu la dernière fois. Je sais pas s'il y a moyen de faire autre chose. Est-ce que si je clique vers le haut, il se passe quelque chose? Non. Donc, vers le bas. Là, j'ai fait ce qu'il m'a demandé de faire depuis le début.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Si je remonte. Je sais pas.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Ouais,
Mind
ça, on
Control
l'avait déjà
Facility.
fait. Euh,
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Je voudrais juste savoir s'il y a
Stanley
quelque chose à
thought to
changer
himself. Did he have
en
the
étant dans cette
strength
salle-là,
to
mais je suis
find
pas
out?
sûr. Pas sûr qu'on peut faire autre chose, on sait rien. On va voir, hein. Certainement que je vais avoir la première fin quand j'ai testé le jeu, hein, ça n'a rien changé, mais
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
on peut rien changer. Hein.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Attends. Je peux pas aller en dessous, là? Si. Ça change rien. Je prends le temps parce que... ça fait rien. Ok. Bref, je suis obligé d'aller en haut, quoi. Ok. Peut-être que le mec va s'énerver parce que je continue pas le truc, mais... je voudrais juste voir... Tu vois, il y a des numéros, là. J'ai jamais fait gaffe, ça. 3. Attends, faut peut-être faire dans l'ordre. Voilà, là, il y a 1. 2. Il y avait un 3 quelque part. 3. Il doit y avoir un 4 puisque j'ai vu le 5. Where is the 4? Où est le 4? Il n'est pas là au-dessus? On dirait que c'est là-haut. Mais je vois rien, j'ai pas de torche, j'ai rien. Et je sais pas monter dans le noir comme ça. J'ai l'impression que je peux pas accéder à l'escalier. Ah, il y a une grille. Il y a une grille, je peux pas accéder à l'escalier. Je pense que le 4, il est en haut. Merde. Ah, c'est con. Je pense, hein, j'en sais rien, mais ça me semble évident. Bon bah tant pis, 5. Mais ça fait chier quoi. J'aurais voulu voir ce que ça faisait si j'appuyais sur le bouton. Attends. Si. Faut monter là. Non? Attends. À quoi ça sert ce truc? Ah, rien. Putain, c'est con. Bon bah tant pis. Dommage. J'aurais bien voulu.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On va faire honneur.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off.
Ah oui, la dernière fois j'avais fait off.
If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
Là,
But
tout
what
est allumé.
precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you,
Et là, au
about
fait,
me, where we're going.
là c'est
What all
ouvert
this
là.
means, I
Attends.
barely know where to start.
C'est ouvert. Attends, j'essaye.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of
Deux.
solace before you're obliterated? All right.
Merde, il a fermé la porte.
You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what
Merde.
happened to them.
Deux.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
Trois.
Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other
Vite.
times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing
58
everyone
secondes.
inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
4.
I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I
Et le
almost hate
5,
to see
là-bas
it
où?
go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Bah, j'ai fait jusqu'à 5, mais ça n'a pas
I'm
marché.
going to put some extra time on the clock, why not?
Ah, il m'a mis du
These are
rab.
precious additional
1 minute
seconds,
47.
Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Et je peux plus
Is
passer
it
par
that
là
you have
maintenant.
no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
Wow.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces.
Je vais
Will
mourir.
you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or
13
don't.
secondes.
It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Et voilà, je suis mort. Et ça, c'est une autre fin du jeu, je crois. Comme je vous rappelle, il y a une quarantaine de fins différentes. Voilà, et on revient ici. Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ok.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Allez, on va ici.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Vas-y. Voilà. Alors, je vais monter là, de toute façon, j'ai pas le choix.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Qu'est-ce que t'as fait? Ok, il a changé le truc.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Ok. Donc là, je connais pas du
Calling
tout.
it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Ok.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc? Waouh. Pas mal.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Des nouvelles fonctionnalités. Attends. Putain, il y a plein de trucs différents. Il y a plein d'endroits où on peut aller. Ici en haut. Là. Ici. Putain, on peut aller partout, quoi. Là. Ah, trop de choix tue le choix. Je sais pas où je dois aller. J'espère pouvoir revenir un jour pour voir ce qu'il y a d'autre. On va aller là pour voir.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the
Un
Stanley
saut.
Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Qu'est-ce que je vais foutre un pinceau?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Je peux pas le lâcher le seau parce que ça me fait chier de me balader avec un seau, moi. Ok, bah je me balade avec un seau. Ok, bah écoute, si ça peut me donner du plaisir, hein, on y va. Ok,
Does
ensuite.
anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Ça, le blanc.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece.
Ah bon, j'ai choisi l'autre. Bon, c'est pas grave. Ok.
Or
Oula.
actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Attends, je suis où là? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc? Ah, le jump
You know
circle.
what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Ok, je peux pas sauter. Je suis perdu dans ce truc-là, hein.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a
Je
medium.
saute.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a
Attends, on va
bummer,
attendre un petit
but I
peu.
do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Je fais exprès de pas appuyer, hein. J'attends de voir ce qu'il va dire.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Ah,
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually
sur ma scène
fascinated
pour la
by
chute.
falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Il s'énerve.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
J'attends un petit peu. Attends, j'attends un petit peu pour qu'il parle. Non, il dit rien. Bon, allez.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Ok, cool. C'était sympa. Ok. Il n'y a pas d'autre porte hein, là-dedans. Bon, c'est bon. Ok, ça c'était le trou sans fond. Ok, parfait. Et bah, toujours avec mon seau là. Tu aurais pu mettre des pop-corn dedans. Alors donc. C'est quoi ça?
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Ok.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Je sais pas. Attends, il y a sûrement d'autres choses à voir là-dedans. C'est quoi ça?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Ok. Ah, c'est ça la figurine qui parle. Oh putain. Intéressant. 0 sur 6, mais j'ai aucune récompense hein, si j'ai les 6. Hein, ce qu'il m'a dit. Ok.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Ok. Est-ce que j'ai tout vu? Là, j'y suis allé, non? Ouais, j'y suis allé. Il y a bien une sortie dans ce niveau. Enfin, je suis arrivé là.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to...
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here.
Finis
I'm
d'ici,
done with
tu
this
portes
button.
bouton.
Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Ok, d'accord. Le problème, c'est que je sais plus du tout où aller, moi, maintenant.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Parce que là, franchement, je sais pas où aller. Exit, là-bas. Je peux pas y aller. C'est fermé. Ah, là-bas. Wow.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Ouais, ouais. C'est bon. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc?
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ok. Super.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
C'est n'importe quoi.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
D'accord. Paramètres. Il me met dans un nouveau jeu qui s'appelle le Stanley Parable 2. Putain, c'est quoi ce bordel? Comment c'est le jeu? Avec les changements qu'il a fait lui-même, quoi.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where
Avec les
he was
ballons qu'il a rajoutés.
employee number
Ok.
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Ok. Alors, est-ce
And
qu'il y a
then
des
one
changements?
day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give
Ok,
him
il y a les ballons.
instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok. Donc ça n'a pas trop changé à part les ballons. Hein. Alors, on y va. Maintenant, il y a
All
des
of his
ballons partout.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alors. Ah, le fameux Sceau. Oh, je prends pas du bras.
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up. Why was he not doing it?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Mais j'ai jamais pris là, ce truc-là. Je suis curieux de voir où j'arrive du coup.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ok.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? No,
Il sait
let's
plus.
see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ok. Ah oui, on arrive là.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Mais au début.
All of his co-workers were
Ah, il n'y a
gone.
plus les ballons
What
là.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Il n'y a
missed a
plus du tout
memo.
les ballons. Ok. On est revenu au jeu standard alors.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I
Il y a
definitely
plein de portes. Hein.
restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
On va partir à droite là. Je sais pas où je vais, mais j'y vais. Putain, mais quel bordel. Je suis paumé. Je sais pas où je suis.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok. Il n'y a plus de porte.
Okay, yep, it's
C'est
worse.
encore pire.
I might be remembering this
Il n'y a plus de
wrong.
porte du tout.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Alors.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Putain. C'est quoi ce bordel?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
D'accord, faut suivre la ligne.
All right, I've got a
Trouver une
solution.
solution.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple
Eh
is
ben, écoute, on
that?
va suivre. Hein. Je vais pas t'emmerder hein, cette fois-ci. Je vais suivre ta
You see,
putain de ligne.
the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably
D'accord,
conjured
ok.
into being
Le truc
by
qui
the
sert
very
à rien.
manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Bon, alors on l'entend pas parce que, à mon avis, j'ai dû couper la musique. Mais qu'est-ce que c'est que ce truc?
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ok.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
Mais je tourne en rond là.
Wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Ok, donc j'ai pas le choix de toute façon, faut que je prenne la porte de droite.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending.
Sacré redémarrage, le narrateur oublie qu'il a déjà relancé le jeu.
Giant ending.
C'est quoi ça?
And we're supposed to restart the game what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me?
Huitième redémarrage, le
How
narrateur
did
est
I
parti.
get
Au
to
bout d'un long
decide?
moment, Stanley
Why
meurt.
don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Hein? Bizarre.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Maybe Stanley would never pick up the bucket. A lonely bucket,
Lonely
Allez, je vais te faire
and
ramasser ton
miserable,
seau.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Ça sert pas à grand chose, mais je te le ramasse.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
Allez, je vais te suivre, mon copain.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked
On va suivre le truc
upstairs to
jusqu'au
the
bout.
boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding
Est-ce que le seau le guidait?
Yes,
Non, non, c'est
this
que...
is certainly the most logical explanation.
Ah!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
D'accord. Ok. On va le faire bien jusqu'au bout, là, pour voir.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
C'est demander Stanley le seau. Comme si le seau, il était son copain.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything
Le
like
seau
this,
n'avait jamais
and
rêvé de
very
tel,
nearly
il était à deux
burst
doigts de
into
fondre en
tears
larmes.
as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
N'importe
everything
quoi.
would be fine.
C'est pour ça que j'ai envie d'aller jusqu'au bout en faisant bien l'histoire, là, pour voir si ils vécurent heureux avec le seau et beaucoup
Was
de
the
petits sauts.
bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Ah, le seau.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
Voilà.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door.
The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
C'est n'importe
Both of
quoi.
them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was
Ah,
Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
ah merde.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to
Ah
part with
merde.
the bucket.
Ok.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Ok. Donc il a fini comme ça, dans le noir, dans l'obscurité, avec son seau. Ok. Ok. Bon, les gens, on va se laisser là, parce que après, ça peut continuer comme ça pendant je sais pas combien de temps. Franchement, c'était cool, hein. J'ai beaucoup aimé. La suite est en pause, d'accord. Et franchement, très bien. On va faire retour menu et retour bureau. En tout cas, j'espère que vous avez apprécié sur cette nouvelle version du Stanley Parable 2 avec l'histoire du saut. C'était sympa. Et on se voit la prochaine fois pour voir d'autres absurdités qui risquent de nous arriver sur le coin de la figure. Allez, sur ce, je vous laisse. Salut les gens. Ciao, ciao. Bye.